Welcome to Shambhavi Spectrum. Today, my numbered guest is Sudeshna Banerjee, the director, founder, entrepreneur of Beyond Numbers. Sudeshna has very kindly agreed to discuss with our audience the basics of how we calculate margins, and she will talk more about it. Before that, Sudeshna, could you give me a small introduction about yourself and your journey with Beyond Numbers?
Hi Shambhavi, I'm really proud and happy to be a part of your Shambhavi Spectrum. You've been a great inspiration always to all of us. And so I take this opportunity thanking you first. And yes, about me, I've been here in Dubai since 2014, so 16 years, out of which 14 years was a corporate journey, starting with Unilever, and my last job was with Colgate Palmolive. In 2018, when VAT came in, then I decided to start something on my own, where this journey with Beyond Numbers have started. And it's quite an interesting journey. Over the period of 2 years, I have actually, Beyond Numbers have grown in terms of getting number of clients, employees, and things like that.
Great, so nice. Congratulations. I hope your beautiful journey grows exponentially with numbers. And tell me something. So before offline, we were discussing about how we would calculate sales and how you would calculate margin, and simple, in very simple terms. Could you share the screen which you were just preparing now with our audience?
Yeah, to give the brief introduction, this is a sample example. Say a company named Beyond Pajamas. They sell pajamas. Okay, and now I'm sharing the screen. The cost of this, her single SKU would be that 250 dirhams is the cost per selling price. Now for 1,000 units, she comes to a selling price of 250,000. Let's take it as dirhams for now. And the cost, which is just basic, the material and just the freight, and she imports it from China. So, and the cost for it is 90 dirhams. And for the same 1,000 dirham, the cost would be 90,000. And she makes a margin of 160,000 dirhams. And when we take a percentage of the margin, which is your gross profit by, I'll just show you gross profit by the sales, gives you the margin. Here, the margin is 64%. When it comes to 64%, on a first glance, we see it's good, because anything less than 50% is a red alert, especially in terms of the industries where you are selling goods. It should never be less than 50%. And if you are selling it less than 50%, you are actually making a loss. But then there are exceptions as well. But for now, per se, I'm taking it. This is the general trend of keeping a thumb rule of 50%. Now we have the below the indirect costs, or your variable costs, which are, now she has probably an employee which is 5,000 dirhams, and it comes to 60,000 dirhams per year. Then there is license cost she might incur, which is 20,000 dirhams. And visa cost would be, now probably she has incurred for herself and the employee. And if visa cost would have been 12,000 dirhams together, but for a year, then it comes down to 6,000. Then she has a rent.
Instead of 2 years, yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Instead
No
of 2
problem.
years, you have brought it on to 1 year.
1 year.
And that's
Yearly,
for two
yeah.
people. For two
Yeah.
people. Okay.
Two
Yeah.
people,
Then?
two people, because the cost in any case for that year is still 6,000, whether you pay it or not.
Okay.
Then the rent, suppose she has a warehouse and stuff, and a small office, and she pays a total rent of 60,000. Then
Okay.
because it's her pajamas she's selling, she needs, and it's through her website, she needs extensive kind of marketing. So there she keeps a budget of 20,000 dirhams. Then there are some office expenses, and she decides, since it's the just start of her business, she will start taking only 2,000 dirhams per month. So it comes to 24,000. And then there are miscellaneous costs, which could be like your fuel, your telephone, and everything. So it comes to 20,000. So the total comes to 216,000. With this 1,000 quantity she's selling, she's actually making a loss of 56,000.
Okay.
So how do we get the break even? Or what is the break even sales she need with this kind of cost?
Right.
Is that this total cost divided by the margin, which is 64%. She need a sale of 337,000. So basically, if we divide this by 250,
Right.
she needs to sell at least 1,350.
Okay.
Okay.
So if she sells 1,350 instead of selling 1,000, she should be able to cover all these costs.
All these costs, yes.
Is that
She
correct?
has two options, either to sell 1,350, or she can reduce some of the costs on this, which are your fixed costs, you can say, or the variable cost, whichever. This is the cost that she's maintaining. She has to reduce some of it. Some costs, like license cost, she cannot do. This is a complete fixed cost. But certain,
Correct.
and then visa cost is also a fixed cost, like she cannot do anything, but she can reduce on rent.
Okay. So,
And some of the office expenses.
right. And maybe the marketing expense also she can.
Reduce a bit, and she can do a bit by herself instead of outsourcing the whole thing.
Okay. So you said 1,350 number of pieces and 337,500 the amount. And when she does this, that means this is she's in profit then. Is that correct?
No, she's in break even, meaning she's just covering these costs.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not even making profit or loss. Anything like, if now she makes it to 1,3, now if I just see for an example, I put it here 1,350 instead of 1,000, then the whole thing you will see her net loss, it's just break even. Now, even if she make one more, like 1,351, then she's making a profit. She started making a profit.
Okay. So though she had a margin of 64%, and now her margin has gone up to 86%, is it? Is this what
No,
you're showing?
gross profit, 1 minute. I have not, sorry. I have not changed here. My mistake, my bad, sorry.
No problem.
I should have changed it here. 1,350 was this, and I'll make this as the margin is same.
Same.
Sorry. Okay.
So the margin is same, 64%. That is correct?
Margin will be same because
okay. So okay. Again, an important question which I wanted to ask you. You mentioned a unit, and you said one pajama is one unit. Now, can you tell me some other cases where the units are different? I know you're dealing with different clients. Would you like to explain to us a little bit about how the concept of unit is different for different organizations?
Okay. So first is the SKU, is the single stock keeping unit, which is the most important thing. So SKU for.
So Sudeshna, working with different clients, I know you use different units. Like here you mentioned one pajama as one unit. Can you please explain to us that what are the different type of unit, the term which you use for different organizations?
Now here she is selling one pajama. Now suppose she decides to make a box, and in which she wants to add one pajama set, one night dress, a candle, and a cream. She makes it a happy pajama set, names it as happy pajama set. In that case, the SKU would be happy pajama, and all these 4 units will be added to both in the selling price and in the cost price as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Would you like to share any other companies use any other unit which who you
normally basically they most of the companies, like even I have companies who sells electronics and all that, their SKU is individually. they add it to it. And uh, suppose you're selling a telephone, for example, you just and a charger. So those two sets, again, it comes as telephone separately and a charger separately, and they make a box, as I mentioned, as Happy Pajama. Same thing. They sell a telephone and a charger. And if there could be like cigarette companies, there might be 10 cigarettes in one packet. So the one packet will be a single SKU.
SKU. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you also have a box, I think, and some have cartons.
And all this together, they will make one SKU together. And all
So
these
that is-
costing will be part of that SKU.
So that is a standard. Is there any standard, or every company uses their own type of
Their own, and depends on their specific needs.
Okay. So there is nothing as an industry standard, or nothing as standard across the country, or there is no such rules on those things.
No. It's totally depending on each individual company, how they want it.
All right. So the basic thing which I also want to ask you before we sign off for the session is that fixed cost out of these indirect costs. Why have you named it indirect cost, Sudeshna?
Because these are not suppose you want to sell the pajamas, then you don't need all these license, and suppose you buy something from China and you give it to someone. These are indirect costs, meaning to have the business, you need all these costs, but they are just not the direct. Like direct costs are only material, labors, and overhead. These comes under the direct cost.
Which is connected to the product directly.
Product itself and nothing else.
Nothing else. So these are, that's why salaries and all these, you put them into.
These are all indirect costs.
Okay. There is also one other question which is constantly been with us is that you have fixed costs and then they could become variable costs also. Would you like to cite as an example? And actually, I should request you to remove the screen so we can see more of you. And
okay, I'm stop.
You can stop sharing. Yeah. Same where the mute.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. And now coming back to you're saying like here the fixed cost rent could look like a fixed cost, like you're paying yearly. It's a fixed cost. But today you decide, now I don't want to go for rent. And with the current scenario, it's like a lot of people are going work from home philosophy. So in that case, it becomes as a variable cost as well.
Okay, so
depending on your budget.
This is the part of the company which is taking on rental. What about that company which is actually renting out and is a real estate and was looking at this as an income so that they could pay their expenses? What happens to them in such scenarios?
For them, the income gets variable because people right now, they are opting out, and that's why real estates are getting hit. So that's the income, but their what are the fixed costs for a real estate agent basically would be your commission. Biggest one of them is commission, then salaries. They can look at reducing the salary cost, which was once a fixed cost. Now they are reducing the salaries, which is
so when we say that during the COVID, people have even taken pay cuts by choice, or that they have been asked to pay cuts, either ways, now that means the salary, which was a fixed cost, has become a variable cost.
Variable cost, correct? Yes.
Okay. Is there something else so I have young budding marketing managers with me, okay, who are also going to be a part of my audience. Can you tell them something which they have all done accounting as a part of their curriculum and their syllabus, but as a practitioner, would you tell them something to the marketers which they should keep track of and which might kind of get overlooked when they're looking at maybe budgets, or when they're looking at what their returns are going to be from any particular marketing campaigns they run? Is there something you would like to tell them?
Marketing campaigns, it's a very interesting thing. You will see that the moment you start your spending on the marketing, you get to see the results, and you should never wait more than 2 months. If in 2 months you are not getting the proper leads, that means your marketing spending is not correct. You change your strategy, change the way you're doing it, and try new things out.
So for what are the things that you do for Beyond Numbers? Tell me that, apart from social media, Can you tell me some more? What do you do for beyond?
But my experience overall, social media is for branding. You don't really get much leads out of it. But what really works is a paid campaign, which I have not done, but I heard it's good. But then there are, for me, SEO has worked. And there are times when I have myself done SEO. I've written blogs based on the keywords. And those keywords are, how do you find the keywords? You write in the Google VAT. You will see a list of questions that come out. You take out each question and write a blog on each of them.
Oh, wonderful. So that, and you have been specializing in VAT, the VAT, which as you
Yeah.
mentioned since 2018 because of that. So you're indicating that whatever you want to do or focus on, you put that search word in Google. And then you said that you're writing blogs on that.
Each
That's
of
very-
them.
On each of them. Okay. So
Yeah, each
roughly,
separately, and roughly each blog should be not never less than 800 words. It should be more, at least 800 and plus words. And
Okay.
take the trending things on place, and you start writing blogs. You get, I got lead and I got converted by myself doing SEO for this.
Okay, very good. And how did you track the blogs? What did you use specifically? Did you
Google
use-
Analytics. Google
Google
Analytics, it's very good.
Okay. So you used internet, you used like, I mean, numbers, but that was not connected to social media. You use more of it in terms of Google Analytics.
Social
and
media is for
SEO. That is
branding.
what you're saying,
At
right?
least you know
So,
Sudeshna and beyond
going
numbers.
ahead, Sudeshna, what else are you looking at in terms of branding your organization or in terms of doing any marketing campaigns for yourself? What are you looking at? What do you think is the trend now?
Right now, you will see that a lot of people are going into social media.
No, I
and one
can't
of
hear
the-
you.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I was playing with the headphones. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. What the current trend is, everybody is going into social media. But as you had once mentioned, Shambhavi, it's something very important which everybody doing social media should remember is that you brand yourself, not somebody out and show pictures of something else which does not relate to you or your company. This is an
Correct.
excellent tip, which I would also like everybody to know this.
Thank you. Yes, I do say that. And also, of course, you're a solopreneur, so it's fine. But otherwise, I also tell people that, when you are promoting your organization, you should also promote yourself in terms of how you are contributing as a person. So increasing your profile on LinkedIn, keeping it updated makes a lot of difference to you and to your network for getting business or even for looking for better opportunities. So that is something which we've been doing.
LinkedIn is one platform I have got a lot of clients from, where they have come directly to me and said that, can you do my accounts?
Oh, that's wonderful. So we have some other thing as well, other tools which you are using. That's great, Sudeshna. Thank you so much for spending so much time with me. And I hope to share this with my audience and wishing you all the very best. Thank you so much. Is
Thank
there
you
some-
so much, Shambhavi. It was a great pleasure for me as well.
Thank you.